Have you ever poured a cup of coffee before? Have you ever drank a cup of tea? Have you ever stared out at night and seen stars? Have you ever thought about consciousness? Have you ever thought about how the body might be consciously aware? Have you ever thought about how the brain might be consciously aware? Have you ever thought about how the mind and the brain could both be consciously aware? But have you ever thought about the mind and the brain? Human anatomy also, maybe? There's not really any mind in anatomy and physiology, but the brain has neuroanatomy. The body, arms, legs, heads, ears, toes. And the brain hears sounds to keep the body safe. The mind and the brain think about what they're experiencing consciously, aware. And have you ever been around someone who's retarded, someone who's handicapped, someone who's not in a wheelchair, someone who's not having difficulty with limbs, but with their brain, and been around them and not only felt the raw unpredictability, but witnessed their reaction to love, their reaction to happiness, their reaction to calm and silence and peace and harmony. Growing up, my mom had a friend named Trudy. Trudy had a little boy who grew up big, and he's still big, named JJ. And JJ has a neurodisability and lives in a wheelchair and has to have a care provider. And it was the first time I had ever been around someone who was so wild and obnoxious other than myself. Me and my friends, we did bad stuff like take beer from the grocery store. We didn't sell drugs. We didn't do violence. We had fun. And for JJ, all he needed was people he knew around and nothing too scary. And he was conscious. He was aware what was happening. But his mind didn't always know what that hand was doing a second ago. And so he'd get worried, I think, and he'd get, who knows, maybe he got afraid. But he was a tough dude, so I think he thought he was still having fun, maybe, but it's all theoretical. And the consciousness back there, the consciousness over there, the consciousness coming in my ears are not what both JJ feel about life and what I feel about life. But I don't know anyone else nowadays who share these kinds of thoughts. With so many people out for some substance more extreme than coffee. I mean, good gosh. You drink a cup of fresh cold brew or you drink a cup of hot coffee. Woo-wee. You might end up passing out late at night. Or doing an all-nighter for school because you put off your stuff for so long. But you get that marijuana and that drug and that liquor, and you might have a drug dealer show up and teach you about life and the world. But to claim to understand consciousness automatically goes towards infinity. With energy, with health, with especially food. And emotions like excitement. But not with creepiness and not with fixations on erraticness and disfigurement and confusion. Have you ever heard a voice outside your window at night and not known if it's someone selling drugs or out with a pistol or if it's just someone out doing social stuff? Because unfortunately you can't block the light without a United States Army engineer flag. The landlord doesn't have that kind of architecture. And then wondered, how do they go out at night? What lets them do that activity? Because I got money, I got cash, I got plenty of coffee to give me energy, and I like talking to people, I like meeting folks. But from my vantage point, with the wolf behind me, I don't want to be less human and therefore stay home and safe and consciously aware and at peace.